What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here with the review for Love After Lockup Season 3, Episode 4, titled Liar, Liar. You guys, I'm so sorry that this video was late. I watched the episode last night, went to sleep, woke up this morning, went to the gym, and, I just been lounging around all day. It's hot as fuck here in Texas. Like, it's really hot. So I just ain't been feeling like doing shit today, so we're here. So without further ado, let's just jump right into this episode review. All right, you guys, so I'm going to start up with Worth the Nut. It really wasn't much in this episode with Quaylon, and Chevelle. Last week's episode ended with them, and they went, to pick him up from prison. Like I said last week, it's just, and you saw the snow drop, and I'm like, ain't no way in the fucking hell I'd be out there, because, in order for snow to stick, it's got to be, like, really, really cold. Yeah, I'm sorry, Quaylon, whatever your name is. I wouldn't have been out there. The one thing that I do want to, I tweeted about it, like, damn, who does his hair? Like, who did his hair in prison? Like, they hooked homie's locks up. Like, they were neat as fuck. I'm like, is there something that I need to know? But, whatever. I will say, though, with his scene, and seeing his mama when he got out of prison, her reaction to him, it was just hard. It just warmed my heart so much. I was like, oh, that is so sweet. It's been years since she saw her son, and for her to just have that emotional outbreak, I'm like, that's what's up. I like that. And even, them hugging. Now, the one thing that they did not mention was where was he gonna stay in that car. Even though he's sound about fuck prison, they never mentioned where he's gonna live. So I'm guessing we're gonna get to that a little bit later. All right, you guys. So next, let's move on. All right, you guys. Next, let's talk about Christiana and John. What the fuck? So you guys remember last week's episode left off with those two with that makeshift hillbilly hippie chapel that he set up. I'm not attacking anybody's beliefs. And he's talking about what is he like? Is he 2% Indian, Native American? Because like, come on. When I look at him, I do not see anything Native American about him. But if that's what he wants to say, that's what he wants to say. The one thing that I will say, however, about John is very selfish. It's all about John. It's nothing about, everything with this whole situation is about John. You don't hear him once mention Christiana. Only thing you hear him mention about Christiana is marrying her. And then, we can't be late to the halfway house. But this whole wedding situation is all about John. It's what he wants. It's what he wants. It's what he wants. Never taking into account what this woman might want. She just got out of jail. Y'all been talking for months, but y'all don't really know each other that well. So it's all about what John wants. And it's like I said, it's very selfish and self-centered. It's all about him, nothing about her. And, so like I said, they got married on that makeshift hillbilly hippie ass chapel. I just didn't understand it. And then what really took me out was when that man that was, officiating it, when he started doing that chant, I said, oh no, I can't take this shit any longer. Like, God, help me, help us with this situation. So yeah, that was creepy. And then, when they finished, they have to rush to get her to the halfway house. And, she gets in the car and John's door is stuck. I'm like, well, she's like, do you want me to kick it in? I would have, you wouldn't have to ask me, do you want me to kick it in? I would have kicked that motherfucker so hard that it would have come off the hinges. Like, you wanted us to get married. We got married. Like, he did plan this through. But again, like I said, when he planned this through, he wasn't thinking about Christiana. He was thinking about himself and only himself. Like, that's crazy. Like, this girl is telling you, and this girl needs to get to the halfway house, or if she's late, her probation officer, her parole officer could send her right back to jail. And this is an issue that she's been having for years. Then she called her mama, and when I heard her mama's voice, I'm like, damn. Christiana got a deep ass voice, but the mama got an even deeper voice. Her voice sounded like the Clear Eyes guy. Clear eyes. Like, clear eyes. She just had, and then, when she was on the phone, Christiana, there was just no kind of emotion there, Mom, I'm out. Oh, okay. I'm getting ready to head to the halfway house. That's nice. I got married today. You did what? Like, her voice was monotone. It never changed. But the thing that I'm just tripping off of is her mama's deep ass voice. I'm like, is this her daddy? Because that woman's voice was deep, like as deep as my voice is. Probably deeper. Sound like fucking Angela. Speaking of Angela, you guys, did you guys see the preview for Life After Lockup? It's a 4-part series, 4-part event with them in quarantine and Angela and Tony. Can't wait for Angela and Tony. I wonder if they're gonna do. Ooh, I wonder if they're gonna do Lacey, Shanna, and John. Like, oh my god, like I really miss doing my Lacey voice as much as I miss doing my Angela voice. We have to work on that. We're gonna have to work on the Angela. We are really gonna have to work on the Angela. Damn, because I ain't done Angela in a minute. I ain't done Angela in a minute. And it's crazy that I can still do Lacey. Like, crazy that I can still do Lacey. So, back to this show. So, John, him and Christiana, they on the freeway speeding to get her to the halfway house. Now, at one point, it said that they were 2 hours, she had to check in 2 hours. So then, it said that they were 30 minutes late. And then by the time they got there, she was a whole hour late. I'm like, damn, John, that's really disrespectful. If you say you love this woman as much as you do, why not wait to get married? I mean, because when she's in the car and she's undressing, you're talking about you ain't had sex with her, but you know what? You can wait to have sex with her. Why couldn't you wait to get married to her? Get her to the halfway house and then, plan a wedding. Plan the wedding that she might want. Because how did you know that she wanted this makeshift, hillbilly, hippie-ass wedding? But again, selfish as fuck. Let us move on. All right, you guys, let's move over to Lindsay and Scott. This one is a scam of a scam of a scam. This one gives me the whole situation last season with, what was old girl's name and old boy name? The black couple. Damn, I don't remember their names. The one that's in Florida. Damn, what is their? And I just saw an episode with them a few weeks ago where they were giving an update because she's not with old dude no more. But he was paying her bills. Andrea and Lamondre. That's what they giving me, Andrea and Lamondre vibe. Because Scott and Lindsay. So you guys remember in last week's episode, Scott was at the airport waiting to pick Lindsay up. I knew from the beginning, I'm like, this is not gonna work out. Lindsay is not gonna be on that plane. So Scott, they let the thing down so that everybody can go off the plane. And it looked like it might have been 30 or 40 people on the plane. So Scott is just looking, well, that's not her. That's not her either. That's not her. I'm like, Scott, you gotta know that she ain't on that plane. Well, maybe he didn't. I'm gonna give him the benefit of doubt. The benefit of the doubt that he did not know that Lindsay was not on that plane. But the thing is, and I was wondering, I'm like, so did Lindsay probably get more time added to her sentence? Did she? Because she says she's good at being bad. So I'm like, Lindsay must have done something that prolonged her sentence just a little bit longer. So then we see Scott calling, the prison system, trying to get some information, and they're like, I guess they told him they couldn't tell him anything. He said, is it that you can't tell me anything or that you don't want to? I'm like, Scott, hang the fucking phone up. So then they tell him, call back between 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. I'm like, just call back, dude. But, I mean, what about that food that you bought? Well, he gave it to his limo driver. I'm like, and the limo driver, he's like, do you think you're being scammed? Yes, he's being scammed. But if he's okay with it, I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't got shit to say about him being scammed. But absolutely, Scott is being scammed. And the reason that I say I don't think Lindsay got out of jail, because if you guys go back to like the first episode of this season, Lindsay was talking about what life is like in prison with COVID. And that's ongoing. COVID, we really started talking about COVID in March. That's interesting because I know they have I know that in certain states they have, let people out of jail. Lindsay's case might just be different. Like I said, Lindsay must have just fucked up, did something, and fucked her shit up. Let's move on. All right, you guys, next let's talk about Tyrese. So Tyrese is over to one of his homies' house. I was looking at them curtains. Well, those really weren't curtains. I'm like, damn, they really black. Because, you know how we are, how we can be. If we don't want to buy no curtains, we'll just throw up, some sheets. I'm like, damn. Then when I saw old girl with her hair, She had the fan back here, and then she had this swooped over and curled. I'm like, somebody should have definitely told her not to get on camera looking that way. But whatever. So then we see Tyrese. He's talking to one of his cousins about his relationship with Lindsay. And, he hasn't told his kids anything about her. So then his son comes over, and we find out that his son is actually the same age as Lindsay. Lindsay's 28, his son is 28, and his daughter is 25. Now, I died laughing with the son because the son thought that he was dating some young black girl. He said she's white. She's white. I'm like, yep, she's white. And, he showed her a picture of him. I'm sorry, I don't know where they seeing that Shonda looks good. She has a butter face. She has a butter face. Everything looks good but her face. I'm sorry. Because she did. From her camera, from her photos, she's always turned around with her ass to the camera. Her ass is okay, but her face is just, the face is not there for me. Me personally, the face is just not there. But they talking about she's cute. I'm like, if you say so. So the kids are wondering if, Tyrese is getting played. Do I look like a motherfucker that's gonna let a motherfucker play me? Yes, you do. Because she's playing you. You don't know this girl like that. That's the thing that I don't understand. How do you freely and openly spend money on a person that you either one, never met, you've been talking to for at least 2 or 3 months? Like, the men on this show, they come off very, very desperate for love or for companionship. They just come off very desperate, my nigga. Like what I gotta do to meet somebody that want to spend money on me like that? I'll have sex with you if you got a nice body. I'll have sex with you. But you gotta have a nice body. If you pay me like thousands of dollars, we can talk about having sex. Probably not. Oh God, I just don't know how sugar babies do it. I don't know how sugar babies do it, especially like girls who have sugar daddies that are fat and old. How do you have sex with that? I even know I've actually at a mall, at one of the malls here in Dallas, I saw this dude. He was with his sugar daddy. They would buy some clothes, and the sugar daddy, I'm like, wow, how could you sleep with that? I couldn't sleep with nobody that looked like Santa Claus. Like, you and your big belly are not finna just lay over me. Ugh. Okay, yeah. But yeah, they just don't want they don't want Tyrese to be taking advantage of. Tyrese really don't think he is, but I'm like, Tyrese, my dude, you are. But let's move on. Here go Dum Dum number 2. Shawn and Destiny. So we find out that Shawn and Destiny are going to meet her mom and sister, Brittany. Her name is spelled, damn, Destiny Brittany. You love knees, don't you, huh? Cool. So we find out that it's been 3 years since, she saw her mom. And you guys, when I was looking at Shawn, I was like, he looks familiar. And if you guys never, if you didn't watch the show, then you were living under a rock. But Orange is the New Black. If you guys remember the character, Porn Stash, he looks just like Porn Stash to me, minus the stash. So then we see, I'm about to say Shonda, but Destiny and her sister Brittany, they going to change into some of the clothes that, Shawn had bought for her. She did not like the clothes because they didn't fit the way that she wanted them to fit. I'm like, how did you want them to fit? You told him that you put on some weight, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't know your exact size. So I'm pretty sure that they're gonna probably be a little bit baggy. But then if they fit tight, you'll probably be like, oh, I don't like the way this fit because this show off the fact that I gained weight. Destiny is just somebody that just does not seem like she would be happy no matter what. So while her and her sister are, putting the clothes on, which the sister asked her, do you really want to go to Vegas with him? She says, at first she said yes, but then she said she doesn't know. I'm like, Destiny, tell her the truth. We know the truth. This is a con. This is a game. You don't want him to begin with it. You don't want him. So then Shawn and the mom are talking. And the mama asked Shawn about himself. She says, she asked him how many kids did he have. He said he has 6. She said, wait a minute. From what I thought you only had 2, because that's what Destiny told me. He says, yeah, that's what I told Destiny. I'm like, wait a minute. The mama said the same thing that I said. Anybody that lie about how many kids they got will lie about anything. Like, how do you lie about your fucking kids? Because she asked him, had he ever been married? He said he's never been married, but he has 6 kids. She said, and I'm like, how do you lie about your kids? And the fact that your kids might be watching this show, first of all, why would you go on TV? Like, you embarrassing yourself like hella hard. Like, he looks so fucking stupid. Now, the mama thinks that they moving too quick. I'm like, I 100% agree with you. He just met her. But now he's talking about, what he wants to do with this relationship. Slow your roll, bruh. So then, Destiny was hitting on him, and he said she's been abusing me for a while, and her mom was like, this could be elder abuse. She says, well, he's not the same age as you. He's a little bit younger. And she said, well, he's not the same age as me. He's just a little bit younger. And then, Brittany says, well, how old are you? He acted like he didn't hear her. And Destiny said, well, she just asked you how old you were. He said 45. She said, 45? You told me you were 36. He said, you thought I was 36. I'm like, no, you probably told her you were 36, but how did she believe you were 36? Because you look like you 55. You look every bit of 55 in the face. God. Shawn is full of shit. That's as much as I can say about Shawn, that he is full of shit. God, when it comes down to who I dislike the most on this show so far, Shawn is top of the list. Shawn is tip-topping on that list. You guys, I wonder when we're gonna meet that other couple, that light-skinned black guy with the girl with the white girl with the red hair. That's what I'm ready to see, because they look interesting. Let's move on. All right, you guys, and then to close this episode out, let's talk about Maurice and Jessica. It ain't really much with Maurice and Jessica. So, they went to, see his parole officer. So what Maurice wants to do is tell his parole officer that he doesn't have any family there. And, Jessica is his wife. He's going to take his marriage certificate, his marriage license. And he's going to tell his PO that, she has a home in Vegas and he wants to go be in Vegas with her. I'm like, wow, if only it worked that way. Like, when you're getting paroled, I don't know too much about this situation, but you have to have an address that you're going to go to. So I'm assuming you provided someone's address in California, in Compton. So when you and Jessica got married, why come you guys didn't say, hey, he's not going to go live at this place anymore. He's actually going to come live with me. I know y'all put in the paperwork on that Friday that they said, but do y'all really think it's going to take a few days for that shit to go through? Like, this is the court system. This is legal stuff. That shit takes some time. Especially when it comes to prison shit. That takes a good while. Trust me, I do know that one. That much I do know. When it comes to anything prison related, that shit is strenuous as fuck. Because, when I had my cousin, I have had a few family members in prison. And when stuff happened, especially when my uncle, my biological uncle, when my grandfather passed away, it wasn't easy to get him there for the funeral. No one knew if he was actually coming home for the funeral until we actually had the funeral and we saw him. And, so no one really knew if he was coming. So, yeah, when it comes to the prison stuff, it doesn't work that way. Like, you got to get on top. You got to stay on top of that shit. And you got to start early. Like, I just feel like these two are very unrealistic so he calls auntie, telling her that he's gonna have to stay in California. It takes 30 days for them to review it, then it takes another 30 days for somebody else to review it, so it'll be about 60 days. But he tells Jessica, let's go home. I'm like, nigga, if you don't want to go back to jail, you will sit your ass put. Didn't your auntie just tell you last week that your uncle got caught and they took him right back to jail? So chill out. But you guys, that is going to wrap it up for this episode review of Love After Lockup. Be sure to like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware of when I drop anything else. Share this video, and until the next one, you guys, do me a solid favor, take care of yourself, stay safe out there, and also stay hydrated, and I will see you guys in the next one. Actually, the next one, I don't know when I'm gonna upload this one, but the next one I'm going to give my review. It's not gonna be like a review, but it's gonna be my reaction to Wet Ass Pussy by Megan Thee Stallion. Well, Cardi B featuring Megan Thee Stallion, and I'm gonna talk about the song, the video, some of the controversy that's surrounding it. I'm rolling my eyes so hard at the comments. But I'll see you guys later.